and streams loaded with adventure, scenic views that will take your breath away, biking trails and back roads just begging to be discovered. Sit back and relax as Ray Tucker and longtime journalist Brian Hendricks explore our magnificent state with this week's edition of Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Brought to you by Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
I want to start tonight's show off and just say this. If you are new to the state of Arkansas, you are in for an absolutely real treat. Now, excluding the pollen this is a special time of the year coming up in our state, Brian Hendricks.
Yeah, the trees are already starting to bloom out. The Bradford pears are doing their things, and red buds were starting to bloom a little bit in northwest Arkansas this weekend. So it's on us. We might have a little cold spell, but it's springtime.
And it is a special time of the year to fly fish, and we got great rivers.
A great time to fly fish in Arkansas anytime, but you can't beat it now. It's the best time of the year, and I was up in Fayetteville this weekend with attending the Trout Unlimited annual banquet and fundraiser up there, Chapter 514. It was a huge, huge event. Packed house. They gave out a lot of awards and a lot of great items in there. And I met a young man there representing McClellan's Fly Shop. Sometimes you just run into somebody and you think, this guy is probably pretty interesting. So I walked up to him, struck up a conversation, and he agreed to come on our show tonight. So I'd like to welcome Sasha Foster of Fayetteville to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Sasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I don't know how well the audio quality is going to be from Fayetteville to Little Rock, but we'll give it a shot.
Well, it sounds pretty good. And when I met you, you were there at the booth, McClellan's booth, and you were tying some flies, and that's something that I want to get into. So we struck up a little bit of a conversation. But one of the things that struck me is your age. You're a very young guy. And I was just kind of curious, how does a person like you, what is it about fly fishing that attracted you?
Well, I've been fly fishing for about, probably about 8 years now. I started in middle school with Mr. King and Mr. Smith. They helped me tie my first flies. I got to go fly fishing with my uncles and my grandpa about that time. And it's all for smallmouth bass, sunfish, and I just thought it was like one of the coolest things that I could possibly do. I think that the fly tying aspect was definitely the part that drew me to it, and I'm a huge bug nerd, so I just absolutely fell in love with the whole fly tying aspect of it, and catching fish is just kind of a bonus.
Are you on speakerphone by chance?
Sorry, could you?
Are you talking on speakerphone right now?
Oh, yeah.
Could you take that off and go straight to the regular line? We're having some garble that happens a lot of time with speaker, and we'd like to get a little bit better connection. If you can do that, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Right.
Can you hear me better now?
Oh, sounds a ton better. All right. We got Sasha Foster back with us and talking about bugs and love of bugs and how that starts to get a fellow into fly fishing. And tell us about your first fly fishing experience, the first fish you caught, and what was that like? What did that mean to you?
Let's see. The first fish that I caught on a fly rod was a long-eared sunfish. It was Mulberry River. Now, yeah. I was with my uncle and my both uncles actually, and my grandpa. We got to go fly fishing on the weekends, and they took me to this one little ripple, and we dead drifted maybe a size 16 hair's had a shiny gold bead on it, and a long-eared sunfish ate it, and that was the only fish I caught that day. But it was like a magical experience for me. It was so wonderful. Everybody was catching huge smallmouth bass on fly rods using gray and white clousers and woolly buggers, and I couldn't cast for crap, and it was just so fun. Like getting to go out early in the morning, all the excitement, the coffee, everything just. And being so cold, it was one of my favorite memories.
So what you're saying is you got hooked.
Sorry?
That's it. Let me do this, Sasha, okay? If you will hang up, we're going to call you back from the studio, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. I think that's our best bet there.
I think that's our best bet. He was sounding a little better on the second try around, but sometimes it's better if we call them back. But, that's a common theme. I think that anybody that fly fishes, Ray, and yourself included, probably remembers the first fish that you ever hooked and landed on a fly rod.
It was a nice brim, popping bug. When I started fishing way back when, the equipment was a lot different than what it is now. But it's a thrill. And once you start fly fishing, even from brim, you're hooked, man. You can't get enough of it.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I learned, too, was over on Brody Lake, staying with some uncles in the summer of '77, and my uncle gave me a fly rod, and he gave me 5 gallons of gas and a 6-horse motor and said, "This is all you get for the summer, so don't waste it." And I would go up and down that bank casting popping bugs under catalpa trees and just wore them out. I caught a bass doing that, but mostly it was bluegills, and it was just a fantastic
Have you
experience.
priced a popping bug these days?
Well, everything's expensive, but I ran into a guy. We had an employee at the Democrat Gazette named Lisa Beninati, I think her name was, and her dad came to visit her from Maryland, and I kind of got to babysit him, for a day. We went up to Crooked Creek, and he gave me this great big selection of popping bugs and surface stuff that he had made out of the soles of flip-flops and fashioned those into bugs, and they work. They float.
Popping bugs, I don't know, $5, $6, $7 now? I don't know. All right, let's get our guest back on the line here, Brian. See if that's better now.
All right, Sasha, are you with us?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. And anyway, we're back, and we were talking about fly fishing on the Mulberry River and a long-ear sunfish, which do y'all call them pumpkin seeds up there?
Sorry, could you repeat that one last time?
Long-ear sunfish, do you all call them pumpkin seeds up there?
Sorry, one last time.
All right. I tell you what, let's do this one more time. We're going to cut for a break here in just a second. Why don't you give us one more ring back? Let's do it the first time.
Let me ask you this, Sasha. Are you on a cell phone?
Yes.
Is there a landline close to you?
Okay, let me check. I don't think I have a landline.
Okay.
Nobody else does either.
Well, he might be in an office somewhere.
Yeah,
That's all I was saying.
Anyway, when you get back, getting back to, popping, throwing popping bugs under catalpa trees and things like that, you learn some things. One thing I learned that summer, Ray, was how to scull a boat because, like I said, I had a little bit of gasoline and I had to have that last. So I would go to the mouth of the Arkansas River, sculling a boat. You know how to do that. And go all the way back to where the first separator was, back and forth.
You can say the word sculling to people, and they have no idea what you're talking about.
They have no idea what you're talking about. And what it is that
that little short paddle.
You got a little short sculling paddle, and it's I don't know, probably about 2.5, 3 feet long, and you've got your knee, or you're kind of sitting sideways on the prow of the boat, flat bottom boat, and you're just moving this thing side to side, kind of angled back, and it propels the boat pretty much like a trolling motor does, except it's very quiet. You can, once you learn to do it, you can maneuver it very, very, very well. And
we maneuvered that really well, didn't we?
We maneuvered that really well, and we're going to give Sasha another try here. I hate that this has happened. Sometimes,
it's modern day technology, and sometimes that happens.
But we'll have him for another segment.
Well, we hope we get better quality.
Right.
All right. Back in a moment.
Ray Tucker.
Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Down south, a handshake means something, and we let our actions do the talking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is rooted in Southern tradition and grit. Southern-born and raised and Arkansas-based, Brad Hendricks is named a Mid-South super lawyer year after year. So for car and big truck wrecks, medical malpractice, wrongful death, bankruptcy, and Social Security claims, his law firm produces results. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Southern roots, serious results.
Superstars Joe Klein and Pat Bradley for Arkansas's #1 sports app, Bet Saracen.
Joe, you know the main difference between Bet Saracen and those other guys?
Definitely. Easier to navigate. Always good parlays. Plus, lots of fun choices. Like ping pong, right there on the app.
But the real difference are those special promos.
Get $250 on us with your first $25 wager.
Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. This year has been the proverbial annus horribilis for Arkansas AD Hunter Yurachek. He came to the Little Rock Touchdown Club and admitted that the Hogs can't compete with the big boys because they don't have the money. He fired a football coach. He hired a football coach. And a lot of smart folks are giving him grief about not honoring Arkansas's proud history with retired numbers or jerseys. And also, he made that dumb 6'7" joke on the committee. But Miami's selection turned out to be justified. May the same be true for the hiring of Coach Silverfield. If Hunter stops into one of Double B's 34 locations in Arkansas, he can tell us some more of those 6'7" jokes. And we won't even laugh. But we'll give him a breakfast sandwich or maybe even a corn dog. 6 or 7 of them, even. Doublebees. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Doublebees.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 501-382-9100. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 501-382-9100. That's 501-382-9100.
Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We're back with Sasha Foster of Fayetteville. And Sasha, sorry about the technical difficulties here. Sometimes it happens. Are you back with us?
I think I'll be back.
I thought we'd say third time's a charm.
Yeah, no, I think third time we're out. That's what we're looking here. We will get you on at a different time and continue this conversation. Sometimes it happens, and thank you for joining us. But we'll catch you in a week or two. How's that sound? And that was Sasha Foster of Fayetteville, McClellan's Fly Shop, and apologize for that, folks. Sometimes it happens.
That'll go down in the logs. Do want to say this for those folks out there tonight. At 5:02 in the morning will be the blood moon. The moon will turn red, and that's kind of timely with what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah, it is, and they don't do fly fishing in Iran, but we do here in Arkansas. And like you were saying, Ray,
it's a total lunar eclipse.
All right, so we do.
You want to? I'm going to get David.
We were talking about the.
Bless Sasha's heart. I think he's trying to call back.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, but.
Well, let's give him a try. No.
No.
All right.
Well, 3 times is no.
All right.
We've obliterated our show here.
Yeah. So you were talking earlier about springtime fly fishing, and one of the things is that the trout, the brown trout on the White River and the North Fork, they have kind of pretty much finished up their spawning thing. They're at the tail end of it, and they're starting to spread out back down the river. And one of the things that happens on the White is that, as the weather gets warmer, you start getting these hatches all up and down. And that's some pretty fun fishing when you can identify what's hashing, what's coming up.
And what was the guy's name you did that?
That was Jared Ruggles.
That you had a great time.
Oh, yeah. And I'll be doing that again with him on May 1st.
We will?
Yeah. Yeah. Or I will. And, you're invited. And that's a unique way of fishing that he has to do there. Kathy Worsfeld and I fished with him also a little later in the summer, and she had the time of her life. And we'll be doing that. But there's just a lot of different things that you can do as the weather gets warmer and fish kind of disperse and do their thing. You can pattern all kinds of different insect hatches if you want to do the stick baits thing or whatever. However you want to fish for them is pretty much open season.
Walk some of the newbies through the process and what's just going on with the trout and the reds.
Yeah, what happened in the some time back was the lakes got low in oxygen. They got real low. You had water coming off the bottom part of the water column through Lake Norfolk, through the Norfolk hatchery. So you had low oxygenated water coming through there. You had manganese. You had a lot of different other things that were coming through there. And long story short, it wiped out pretty much most of the fish that were being raised in that Norfolk hatchery that are stocked in the Norfolk and the White and the various other rivers. And that coincided also with a flood that took out the Spring River Mammoth Spring hatchery, Jim Hinkle Spring River hatchery at Mammoth Spring. And that was a big one too. So it was just the devil's brew of bad things that can happen to the trout fishery. The Game and Fish Commission jumped on that pretty fast. They were very responsive, reduced limits and tried to mitigate harvest down there, and it worked. And one of the things that we noticed when we fished there in January was with that reduced pressure, the fish that we ordinarily would catch were bigger. The rainbows, your stocker rainbows, they were a couple of 3 inches larger than usual. I think that on the balance, you don't want to have a big loss of a fish kill like that, but the way it was handled, I think was overall a net positive. I think in time, anglers are going to get used to a new way of doing things, and I think we're actually going to see the quality of the individual fish on those rivers improve.
One of the most interesting people we had on was a professor from UAPB.
Yep.
And they did this study with brown trout.
Mm-hmm. They did a big study on the brown trout on the Little Red River, and checked out a lot of the spawning areas of reds. Found out there were a lot more of them than they thought, as I recall. I'm kind of having to remember back what that conversation was like. But one of the things that they determined there was that catch and release, pure catch and release, has probably not been a good thing for that fishery there, because you have a limited food supply, especially the way it's been now with the river so low and everything's compact. All the same number of fish are crammed into a smaller amount of water. That river could stand some harvest of brown trout, which that's sacrilegious to say that to fly fishermen, that because they're as into catch and release as bass fishermen are. And in order to manage a fishery, you have to take some out. That's the reason I have creel limits and daily limits and things like that for the good of the fishery. Pure catch and release in any body of water is not a good thing.
I think one of the things, and we're coming up on a break, so I'm not going to ask a question. I'm just going to throw this out there. I think they determined that people thought big browns made a big run, that they stay within a 2 mile radius. They're not running off someplace.
Right. Yeah, they're I think pretty much home bodies, as I recall that research being done. And there are big fish in the Little Red. There's always have been. It's a good fishery, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there.
All right, we've got another guest coming up here in just a second, Mike Bowles, who is a guide, and he is down in Florida. And hopefully our reception is much better. I may cut my wrist here on the air. All right, we'll take a pause. Back in a moment. Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
This is Anthony Lucas, here to tell you about my favorite spot in Little Rock, Corky's. Sure, Corky's may look all ribs and barbecue on the outside, but did you know Corky's was also nominated for Central Arkansas's best catfish? And don't get me started on their chicken, shrimp, and nachos.
Those Big Joe burgers, Anthony.
Big Joe, when did you get here?
You really stealing my thunder, Anthony. Corky's is my place.
No way you love Corky's like me, Joe.
Talk to me when you have your own menu item, Lucas.
Corky's ribs and barbecue.
It's pretty strange how good the deals are at Gwatney Buick GMC in North Little Rock. And tax time is the best time to trade, even if you're currently in the upside down. Right now, get 2026 GMC Sierra with more power than a Demogorgon at 0% and up to 20% below MSRP. Get 2026 Encore or Invista as low as $199 per month. But you won't find a more supernatural deal than Gwatney Buick GMC, because they're prepared to match your tax return up to $1,000 with no alternate dimension required. So escape the upside down prices and head to Gwatney Buick GMC. 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit Sierra based on MSRP of $55,370 with loyalty. Invista and Encore are low mileage leases. See dealer for details.
Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Have questions about retirement, investments, or your money? Call our financial hotline. Dial 501-381-5228 and leave a voicemail with your specific financial question, and our experts will answer it on the Get Ready for the Future show Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Get your financial questions answered by the pros. 501-381-5228. Call now. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Independent Advisor Alliance. Independent Advisor Alliance and Genwealth Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agent Angie Collins in Heber Springs, Michelle Herring in Whitehall, or Jonathan Stone in Lone Oak today.
Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. Welcome back to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Time now to talk with our good friend Neil Atkinson, Sarah's Casino Resort down in Pine Bluff. Neil, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I can hear you pretty good now. But got an early line out on Arkansas versus Texas. Arkansas is going to be a 6.5-point favorite, coming off a very, very tough loss against Florida. Kind of a bad road showing there. But we'll see if they bounce back. And the odds makers that we at Bet Saracen, because we got the line out before the consensus does out, we put 6.5 on it.
Hog baseball, take on Oral Roberts in Fayetteville tomorrow.
Ray, we're cutting out just a little bit there. I didn't catch that. Want to try it one more time?
All right, Razorback baseball taking on Oral Roberts tomorrow.
Yeah, we haven't got. I think I heard baseball, and if I heard right, we don't have the baseball line out, but it will be out in the morning. But what we do have, if you look under the futures, is that a lot of the mid-majors conference tournaments have started, and we got we got some of the Arkansas team coverage there. So make sure you check that out. I think the Ohio Valley got Little Rock is plus 4,000, so they're not a favorite. But in the Sun Belt, Arkansas Red Wolves are plus 850, and I think Central Arkansas on the Atlantic Sun is plus 240 to win their conference. They're second, just right behind Austin Peay at plus 210. So we got the coverage of the in-state teams too, and we'll have the things out like the SEC next week once we get past the last game of the year.
All right, Neil, I know you got a little static there. We appreciate you. You aren't the static. We're the static. I think it's our phone lines. I'm determined that. Appreciate you, Neil.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Go Hogs, and enjoy the app. Check out that promo tab.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, and we're going to do a little more fishing. Right now we're going to go to Florida. We're going to talk to our old friend Mike Boyles, who ordinarily, or during part of the season, he guides on Table Rock, but right now he's down in the Florida big bass country, and they are wearing them out. Mike Boyles, welcome to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Are you there, Mike?
Mike, are you with us? Is Ringling Brothers in town?
I don't know. Sometimes you just have a bad night.
This has turned into a three-ring circus here with the phone lines.
All right. Well, we got bass fishing going on here, too. And once again, same time of year. Fish are, depending on where you are in the state, they're spawning. If you go to South Arkansas, they're midway through that, or maybe even a little bit past it. As you move on to the north, that pattern just kind of picks on up, and they're not in the spawn yet. They're kind of in the pre-spawn up on Beaver and Table Rock and Bull Shoals and all that, where Mike is. But catching crappie also on Lake Ouachita.
All right, I'm going to produce off the air here. Damon's on the phone in there. What we're going to try to do is call Mike from here. I'm not sure what the problem is. Everybody we've tried to talk to tonight has had static in the phone lines.
Static in the phone lines and problems connecting, and who knows what's going on. We're going to give it a try.
Well, it's got to come from over there.
Got to come from over there.
And Damon's on the phone.
So, our friend Bill Eldridge is he's in his usual campsite right now doing crappie camp this time of year, and
he's walking around. He should be back with us in a second here. We're trying to work it out.
Thanks, Damon. You want to give us well, you're on the phone. You can't give us a lowdown on the lunar eclipse tonight. This show's not close to the moon tonight. It's not out. It may be out of sight though.
Well, you got to have the worst ever sometimes, and tonight might be it, Ray. But
well, gee, thanks.
What if you were to have a question about, say, crappie fishing or bass fishing this time of year, what would be one of the things you would want to know?
I want to know when the crappies get on their beds.
Yeah, and see, that's happening right now. They're moving up, and this is one of the things that people like Bill Eldridge and his friends do down there every year right about this time. They go set up, and Bill likes to do a number of things. He likes to run yo-yos various lines like that along the bank, and he targets that stuff gets into the deeper brush piles where the crappie stage. They get up on the bank, and they spawn up on those gravel banks, and it's one of those deals, Ray, where it's pretty much here today and gone tomorrow. The crappie move up, they spawn, then the males take over and guard the beds. So it's like you have a real narrow window to catch the big females as they come on and off, but they're coming on and off in waves. So, you can do live minnows, you can do the jigs, you can do all kinds of number of things.
Best crappie lakes.
I'd say best crappie lakes in Arkansas. I would say Ouachita is the best one simply for the size that it is, the amount of cover, the amount of habitat there, just how big it is. You can run here, an entire milk run and do pretty well. DeGray is really, really good. Greason is really, really good. But then we leave out a lot of the smaller lakes that are probably the best of any of them that don't get quite as much pressure. And, like Bear Creek Lake where you grew up, that's always a good one. These
around Mariana.
Yeah, game and fish lakes all over the place are excellent. I'm thinking of Lake Charles, Lake Monticello's coming on. Apparently they've got some big ones in there already. Lake Poinsett has got some good crappie in it already. So we think about these great big lakes. Beaver Lake is another great one. I remember covering crappie tournaments up there back when they used to have them. Lake Hamilton, all of that.
Do we dare try this again, Brian Hendricks?
I think we do dare try this again because this guest has always got a lot of good things to say.
Mike Bowles, you with us?
One of the wildest nights of our life, isn't it, Ray?
What in the world is going on?
Well, if you wanted to, we talk about, the fishing that we have here in Arkansas, but, Mike's down in Florida doing what he does this time of year, and they're catching, 8, 9, 10-pound bass all over the place. And those phosphate pits down there and around the Everglades, you can't beat that. But then he does offshore stuff too. He sent me a photo earlier tonight of this one of the biggest ladyfish I've ever seen, which fly fishermen love those. They call them poor man's tarpon. And you can hook into one of those and have a big fight of a fish that jumps and fights real hard, and you never know what's going to happen. Shark can get them, and then you've really got something going on.
I'm thinking about jumping out of here.
Oh, another thing is...
hey, that's technology, but I'm not sure what's going on with the phone lines. I apologize to all our listeners if you're still out there with us.
One of the best fishing trips I ever had was right about this time of year on Lake of the Ozarks. I went out with a friend of mine, and it was just kind of a lark where we pulled into a cove and had a deep drop, and a bunch of lay-down logs that were sticking out. And we were fishing live minnows under corks, on trees that were pretty much going down vertical. And these crappie were on the bottoms of those things at various levels. And we anchored off of that sideways with both of us being able to fish on there. And it was one of the few times that we actually filled the boat, the two of us. I'm a passable crappie fisherman. I can catch some, but that was one of those days where I really felt like I knew what I was doing.
Live scope crappie fishing, is that you like that, or the people who do it and love it, but there are other people that say that's not fishing.
I do like it, and the reason I do like it is because it takes so much of the guesswork out of it. Before live scope, you would go and work a brush pile, and you would first work it to see if fish were on it. So one of the traditional ways that they fish on DeGray and Greason is that they have a battery of lines out there set to different depths, and these rods will be color coded. So you'll have a couple of them, I have a white one and a red one and a yellow one and a black with these tape on it, and they're all set to different depths, and you're just kind of swinging the boat across this cover, and say you got the purple line set to 5 feet, and that one goes down. All right, so then you can kind of home in on it, and you can set your other ones to 5 feet, and you can load up. But that's mainly just a fish finding exercise.
All right, we're coming up on a break here. Well, we still got about a minute before the break, B.
So you do it that way. So that's the old way of doing it. With live scope, you can go up to a brush pile with this this piece of technology, and you're scoping that. You can see whether or not there are fish in it, and then you just have to determine, okay, are those crappie, are those bass, are they brim, are they catfish, or whatever. But you know that they're there, and it takes a lot of that dead time out where you can actually spend more time fishing and less time looking. So I like it a lot. I think it's a great way to fish.
Well, we spend less time looking at the call board and seeing what is going on. Now, if somebody just tuned in earlier there, what in the world are these guys talking about? We've had some telephone issues tonight. Our show is built around having a number of guests. And anyway, we've had a little issues here. When we come back, we'll give it another shot. Stay tuned to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. When we take the dogs for a walk, the most dangerous animal we encounter are those stupid, ill-tempered Canadian geese. What do you expect? They're from Canada. But for a trail runner recently in Colorado, he found himself stalked by a worse animal, a mountain lion. He chased the big cat away by using a tree limb to club it in the head. Perhaps such a tactic would work on these geese. I just don't want to offend those sensitive Canadians. They're already worked up enough over that 51st state stuff. Everyone except these Canadian geese prefers Doublebees because it's an Arkansas company, not a Canadian company. When you walk into a Doublebees, you'll always be greeted with a warm, "Welcome to Doublebees." We even welcome Canadians and also LSU fans. Doublebees. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Doublebees.
Superstars Joe Klein and Pat Bradley for Arkansas's #1 sports app, Bet Saracen.
Joe, you know the main difference between Bet Saracen and those other guys?
Definitely. Easier to navigate. Always good parlays. Plus lots of fun choices. Like ping pong. Right there on the app.
But the real difference are those special promos.
Get $250 on us with your first $25 wager.
Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER.
Down south, a handshake means something, and we let our actions do the talking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is rooted in Southern tradition and grit. Southern-born and raised and Arkansas-based, Brad Hendricks is named a Mid-South super lawyer year after year. So for car and big truck wrecks, medical malpractice, wrongful death, bankruptcy, and Social Security claims, his law firm produces results. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Southern roots, serious results.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 501-382-9100. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 501-382-9100. That's 501-382-9100.
Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
I hear a voice, and we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, and we're going to give Mike Boyles another try. We've been saying all these great things about Mike Boyles, and we haven't been able to get him on the phone, but we're going to go for one more time. Mike Boyles, are you there?
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Thank God. It's going great.
You're down there close to Disneyland, and we feel like we're goofy here tonight.
So we've been talking back and forth tonight, Mike, and you're down in Florida as you are this time every year. What all's going on? You've been sending me pictures all night of some really good times.
Well, we finally have warm temperatures in central Florida. We actually experienced winter just like the rest of the country did. Well, I should not say that. I'm rubbing it in. But we got down in the upper 30s and low 40s for several weeks there, some of the low temps, and it really put these fish back in a kind of a midwinter pattern. So we got it warming up now. We're catching fish on artificials and on shiners, and I mostly fish on Headwaters Lake, which is south of Orlando, about 90 minutes.
Headwaters Lake, and what is the habitat like there? What kind of water are you fishing?
So the lake that I'm on, most of these central Florida lakes, they mostly have just vegetation around the edges. It would be cattails, bulrushes, pencil reeds, the lily pads, dollar pads, arrowhead grass around the edges. And then out in the center, out from that, you usually have hydrilla. This lake that I'm on is a 10,000-acre trophy catch and release lake. You got to let everything go. Unless you think it's a state record, you can't even possess it in your live well to take pictures. So you take the pictures, throw the fish right back in right after you catch it.
We appreciate the invite.
Yeah. One question I've got, and a lot of people would have too, is the things that you're talking about have sharp edges. What kind of line are you using to keep your line intact and not lose one of these big fish, when you're fishing stuff that can abrade your line?
What we use, if I am shiner fishing, where we're using the live golden shiners, which you buy them by the dozen down here, they can be 4 inches to 8 or 10 inches long. I'm using 30-pound green braid on spinning reels. For most people, it's just user-friendly. If I'm fun fishing myself, I'm using 30 to 50-pound braid on most of my baits. And then if I'm flipping in heavy matted cover, I'll use that 65-pound green braid.
So the diameter of that is equal to about 8-pound mono, right?
And not every fish you catch is a big bass. I mean, I don't want to exaggerate too much. Just know that the lakes that we're fishing here, the potential of catching the biggest fish of your life, your PB, is going to be there every day, whether it's 5 pounds, whether it's 6 or 7 pounds. And coming up here, we have a full moon. We've got warming temperatures. Water temperature was 70 degrees today, finally. It was in the 50s all the month of February. There'll be those 9 and 10-pound bass caught here in the next couple weeks.
So what are they down? What is deep water there, and is that where those big ones are, just waiting to move up?
So deep water on this lake would be 8 to 12 feet, which is deeper than a lot of Florida lakes, but it also has been dredged out to where there are areas that are up to 20 feet deep. And to put that in comparison, this Headwaters Lake, which has over 300 islands, it has man-made canals that have been dug out, it has pits, and it has that mix of vegetation all over. You've got cattails in the middle of the lake, you've got them on the canals, and then moving just an hour south to Lake Okeechobee, we've been in a drought condition here in Central Florida, complete drought, fire bans. Lake Okeechobee, to get to some of the prime vegetation, it's in 9 inches to a foot of water currently.
Are you
Meaning, in a traditional bass boat, you almost can't even get back to where the fish are at.
Are you guiding right now, Mike, down in Florida, or?
I just guide on headwaters right now, and I think I have 17 days booked for March, which leaves me several days that I can go fun fish. So I'm excited, and I am also doing a little bit of saltwater guiding on the intercoastal for snook now. So that's something I've added this year to my website and all. So we're doing freshwater and saltwater guiding, and I don't like fishing in the cold weather anymore, so I just keep coming down to Florida for 3.5 months every winter.
How do our listeners get in touch with you?
If you just go to MikeBoylesFishing.com, you can find me that way. If you just Google that, it'll go right to my website or one of the others I have down here. They all kind of link together now. But just Mike Boyles, BOYLES Fishing.com. And when it warms up, I'll head back to the Missouri Ozarks and guide on Table Rock.
What a job.
Yeah, and so when you get back up there, what are you expecting to find?
I will be in time for the pre-spawn on Table Rock and hopefully catching some fat smallmouth bass and spotted bass and, depending on the lake level, some good largemouth. Table Rock is fishing better than it has in years right now.
You know, one of the big areas for catching they have a thing there called meanmouth too, which you know. And one of the great areas is right there around the big hotel, you know, there at Branson, that whole area around there. Is that still hold true, or is it spreading around the lake?
You know, there's several areas of the lake now that you can catch those meanmouth. And when you catch one, you can go back in that area, and it might not happen the next day, but just know that this point or this section of lake, you have a chance of catching them. And I've got some now from Shell Knob to Kimberling City, all the way down to the Table Rock Dam and, that Chateau Cove and Big Cedar Lodge. We've even seen some meanmouth. So they're kind of getting integrated into the population of the lake.
And what's a big smallmouth and a big largemouth on Table Rock these days?
And a good smallmouth, and it seems like, you know, everything, these lakes go in cycles, but, man, you have a chance of catching a 3.5, 3 3/4 pound smallmouth on any given day you're out. And on the largemouth, you know, there's fish 9 and 10 pounds in that lake, but a good largemouth is just going to be, you know, 6.5 to 7 pounds.
Are you going to be looking forward to some topwater fishing there, or by that time on a pre-spawn, are you going to be flipping things at them, pitching?
You know, here in Florida, we've got a full moon right now, and I saw quite a few fish moving up on the beds, but most of them have been bucks in these areas. So here, just any minute, any day now, a wave of fish should come in. I went and I've got guide trips the rest of the week, and I went out today and kind of scouted around and found stuff here in Florida. But I do have the best of both worlds, because coming back at the end of April to Table Rock when I start guiding, you know, those fish they'll be right there ready for the spawn that first full moon in April.
Mike Boyles, thank you for joining us on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors tonight. We're going to take us a little break and wish you safe travels and great fishing. We'll see you when you get back up here.
Man, thanks, guys, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mike. Back in a moment.
Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
It's pretty strange how good the deals are at Gwatney Buick GMC in North Little Rock, and tax time is the best time to trade, even if you're currently in the upside down. Right now, get 2026 GMC Sierra with more power than a Demogorgon at 0% and up to 20% below MSRP. Get 2026 Encore or Invista as low as $199 per month. But you won't find a more supernatural deal than Gwatney Buick GMC, because they're prepared to match your tax return up to $1,000 with no alternate dimension required. So escape the upside down prices and head to Gwatney Buick GMC. 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. Call 501-945-4444. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit. Sierra based on MSRP of $55,370 with loyalty. Vista and Encore are low mileage leases. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Joe Klein, former Razorback and owner of Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
And I'm Anthony Lucas, also a proud former Razorback and Corky's Barbecue regular customer.
We may represent different sports in different decades, but all generations of hogs agree.
Corky's is the only place to get the most delicious ribs and barbecue at a winning price.
So stop into Corky's now and every day for never-ending specials.
Corky's,
where the hogs come home, baby.
Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. Ray Tucker here for Honda of North Little Rock. If you're a fan of the Triumph motorcycles, I have good news for you. Honda of North Little Rock carries the legendary classics to the cutting-edge rides. We carry Daytona 600, the iconic Bonneville Bobber, the TF450X, the stunning Bonneville Elvis Presley Edition, plus the Rocket 3 Evel Knievel. We have gear, bikes, and full service for Triumph enthusiasts, and much, much more. Come see us at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Oh, yes, there is a full moon tonight. BJ Knowles showing us now from down in southeast Arkansas. BJ, you all right tonight?
Yes, sir. I'm having a little trouble hearing y'all.
Well,
join the club.
I think the only two people who can really hear
Sounds like y'all been having phone service tonight. Trouble.
Yeah, you're in the stump grinding business. We need you to be in the phone business.
So what's going on, BJ? You catching any fish?
Yeah, man, I've been doing a handful of fishing lately. I had a terminal Lake DeGray here 2 weeks ago, come in second on it, and I've got one coming up on Lake Maumelle weekend after next. And today I was over at Jones Trolling Motor in Texarkana. On the way back, I stopped at Lake Columbia. And before I could even put my boat in the water, I noticed that there was fish already on beds, even around the docks there as I was putting my boat in the water.
You know, you have that place was really, really hot about 20 years ago and such, and I don't hear much about it anymore. And so that's good news. Is it coming back, or did it ever even go away?
You know, I think it did went away. I think it got in a lull. I don't think that lake is what it used to be. When I was living in Camden, I went over there and fished quite a bit, and there was always several 13-pounders that came out of there in the spring, but you don't hear much about it anymore. I still think it takes 20 pounds to win a tournament on it. There's still good fish there. I just don't think it's kicking out the trophy fish are. But now Lake Monticello, on the other hand, has already produced a 10-pounder and several 9s already here in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it has. And what about those big ones that came out of DeGray in February? A couple of 10s, I think, in Hamilton too. We left him speechless.
Hey, BJ, Brian asked me during the break, he said, he fishing now? I said, he fishes year-round. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, there's a couple of, for that Legacy Lunker program, Lake Hamilton surrendered a couple of 10-plus. I think DeGray's surrendered a couple of 10-plus. What's going on with these big lakes that aren't really known for that showing out that way?
That's a good question about DeGray, because they have last 2 or 3 years, DeGray has came up with several double digits out of there. A good friend of mine, Jimmy Eastland, that runs a electronics class guide service. One of his clients caught one of them 3 years ago, I believe it was. So they are starting to produce some bigger fish. I don't know if the grass is bringing them back or what on DeGray. I don't have no idea why they've been coming from there, but they sure have.
As we get into the springtime and the tournaments really crank up, how do you decide which ones you're going to fish?
Man, I'm gonna tell you on DeGray, I was fishing a round trap, ripping it from the grass. Which was, more of a post-spawn reaction bite. But, you really can't never go wrong with a lizard. To me, a good old lizard, Texas rig lizard, and a lot of times I have more success dragging it than I do hopping it. And it seems like that does very well in the spring.
The rattle trap is something that I have never been able to get the hang of. I know people that get them and they take the hooks off of them, put bigger hooks on, but I've never been able to keep them out of the grass. Now, here the trick is to keep them nicking the top.
It's a certain feel that you do, and most of it's ticking the grass, and you just got to have a certain feel for it, which I've switched over to fluorocarbon line when I'm using it, and of course, live scope can play a role in it where you can actually see the grass, and you'll know you're ticking it when you'll feel it get heavy and you're snatching it front loose from it. And it is a certain feel in a way you do got to get used to it to connect with the fish.
And, how do you do that and not get the thing, fouled with grass where you're dragging grass with it the whole time?
BJ, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm just having a real hard time hearing you.
Okay. The question was, how do you rip that rattle trap through there and not foul grass where you got it hanging onto your hooks and you're dragging grass through the water along with everything else? I don't think he can hear my mic. You need to talk to him, I think.
BJ, can you understand me? All right, we're going to cut you loose, BJ. I apologize to you. We'll make it up to you here in a few weeks, okay? All right, our technical issues continue. It has been absolutely a laughing stock tonight, not to us, and hopefully not to you. All right, what all's coming up outdoor-wise you're going to write about this week?
Working on, like I say, we had that Trout Unlimited banquet up in Fayetteville, and that was a really nice thing, a great thing for trout conservation, trout habitat, especially on the beaver tailwater. BJ mentioned, some lakes that we don't really talk about too much. Lake Columbia, that's one that's worth visiting again. Of course, we have turkey season coming up in April, and a lot of people are getting really, really excited for that. We always do this time of year, and so there's already a bunch of folks probably out scouting, driving the roads, making some owl calls, seeing if they can get a gobbler to respond to them off the roosts. Some folks may already be down, calling birds and just seeing what they can get going, because it's hard to wait. It really is hard to wait. A lot of us like to get out there and play with them a little bit before the hunting actually starts. But that's going on. It's a big deal. It's like you were talking about earlier in the show. If you live in this state and you're an outdoors person, you just can't go wrong. We have all the fishing going on right now. Stripers will be hitting top waters on Hamilton and Ouachita right now. You can do that. It's also a great time for hiking and camping. If you want to get out and spend a day hike or a weekend hike on the Ozark Highland Trail or the Ouachita National Hiking Trail, this is a perfect time to do it because the weather is pleasant. Not a whole lot of bugs out just yet. and camping weather is fantastic. You can sleep comfortably and not get too hot or too cold. So whatever you want to do, Arkansas, time to do it right now.
All right, we got to get out of here. Starting next week until next basketball season, we will be at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. for Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Have a great week, folks.